Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And a happy Thursday it is. I hope you're having a great week so far. And to start off, this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no hashtag free Britney, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And that is the power we have. We have the choice of tuning ourselves to people and places and things that really are not part of our central lives, or and that comes with, scrolling in your phone, or, tuning into whatever's on the news that, whatever bleeds leads, or choosing instead to tune into my show, of course, or anything. There's a lot of places where you can find good things to celebrate, good things to focus on, what's right with people, instead of after reading, 15 stories about horrible things that have happened, what we end up saying, what's wrong with people? So I want you to focus on what's right with people. And yes, that's where you are. That's the show you're listening to here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and everywhere streaming. KCAAradio.com, Tiki Live, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and a bunch of other wonderful platforms. So, a couple of things in this first What's Up Doc section. First, a healing breath to our beloved station manager, Marc Westwood, who is temporarily having some health challenges. So, a deep breath in. And release. That is all the way to you, Marc, knowing that your cells are rejuvenating now and that you're going to feel better soon. And that, whatever the diagnosis is, it's just a diagnosis. It's not who you are. And I'm just seeing you whole and healthy very, very soon. So that's for you. And then the other thing I wanted to do in this section is something I don't like doing, which is admitting when I screw up. But Rick in the morning told me that I would be doing well for my listeners by admitting when I screw up, which I'm not quite sure he wasn't just trying to make me feel better. But if you did tune in yesterday and wondered why the first segment was a little bit funny after my interview with the fabulous Dodgers Foundation, it's because I uploaded the wrong segment one, and I'm sorry. I will try not to let it happen again. It is my third week on the morning show, and it's a little different. I went from live shows to pre-recording, so you can have your news and traffic and weather in the segments that you're used to. And I messed up, and I tell you all the time that perfectionism is a dis-ease that keeps you from claiming your birthright of happiness. So I have to follow my own advice, even though the name of the show is not. But I wanted to use this as a teaching moment for myself, that 88% of the time things go really wonderfully and smoothly, if not more. And then every once in a while I screw up. And it is my job now, after apologizing to you, my listeners who support me no matter what, I know, but I am 88% fabulous and 12% I screw up. And now my work is not to focus on the thing that went wrong yesterday and just focus on all the things that are going to go right today. And the first of one being, I'm going to show you a clip. I was on location in Skid Row, and I was sent there by my New York news agency to cover a story of this mobile vet care unit from Elevet who helps pets of the homeless. So I'm going to show you that right now because that's my job, to highlight what's right. Morning, this is Dr. Marissa reporting live from downtown LA. You know me as the Asian Oprah, and I am here as usual highlighting what is good about people, what is right about our world, and people who are part of hashtag Be the Change. And this morning is no exception. Please introduce yourself and tell me what you're doing here.
Hi, Dr. Marissa. I am Amanda Howland. I'm one of the founders of the Elevet Project, and what we do is we treat pets of the homeless. We give free veterinary care, support, and supplies to any vulnerable pets and their people that need us.
Beautiful. And how did this get started?
This came about last year during COVID. My partner Christian and I own a company called Elevet Sciences, and we always wanted a giving back part of our company. We weren't sure exactly what that was going to look like, but when COVID hit and we realized that homeless and their pets had fewer resources than ever, it just crystallized, and we within 3 weeks said this is what we're doing. We rented a van, flew out to California, got supplies and veterinarians, and spent the summer during COVID treating pets all over California.
That is beautiful. Where are you going next?
We're here on Skid Row in LA for the next couple of days. Then we're going to Venice Beach and Santa Ana, and then we'll be in San Francisco, Stockton, Modesto, all over California, and then ending up in Las Vegas.
Is that home base?
No, we're actually based in Portland, Maine, but in California there's such a population of homeless that have pets, so we have the most impact being here.
So are you a vet regularly? Is that your...
No, one of the owners of Elevet Sciences, and which is a pet CBDA company, so everything is pet focused.
Got it. Well, because of the work that you all do, I'm so impressed. I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Thank you.
Usually I have applause, but we're not on the show right now. But maybe I'll have you call in because I think it's wonderful what you're doing. And you know, we all have different emotions when it comes to homeless. We have different thought. We have different BS belief systems that happen. And the bottom line is, it is what it is, and they need help. So
they do, and they are wonderful pet owners. We have been so impressed with the care that is given to these pets, and these people are so devoted to their pets, and it's wonderful to see.
Thank you for that. A very good point. All right, so at the end of every show, I do a little thing called Peace In, Peace Out, World Peace Through Inner Peace. Would you do that with me?
I would love to.
Okay. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Dr. Marissa reporting live here, downtown Skid Row with the Elevet Project. And wasn't that awesome? They are going to be in Skid Row one more day today, and then they move to the Sportsman Lodge after that, and then to the Path Hollywood on June 28th, June 29th, Hope for Home, Pomona, and then to Venice Beach, June 30th to July 1st. So please do, if you know anyone who is temporarily homeless, no thanks to COVID, no thanks to the circumstances that they're going through, and they have pets and would like a free pet care checkup, then please you can go to my social with the schedule or go to elevetproject.org. That's ELLEVET project.org. And you can get more information about where they're going to be. And that was Christian who actually walked behind her. And we did try to do a longer interview, but the internet was just not cooperating, especially since I wanted to highlight them because they are in partnership with Cornell University Vet School. And Cornell is where my older daughter went. But it's okay. I think you got the gist and the information and the understanding that you can help. We're going to be right back with a wonderful, wonderful individual, Marc Pulver, who has autism, who knows that it's just a diagnosis and is not who he really is, and he can do anything he wants. So be right back with Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. And I'm so delighted this morning. I have a special guest for you. His name is Marc Pulver, and he has written a very important book. And I'm going to let him introduce himself to you and tell you about his book. Welcome to the show, Marc. Wanted to give you a little applause. So you are the author of, tell me the name of your book.
It's called Living Life with Autism, The World Through My Eyes.
Beautiful. And so you do have autism.
That's correct.
And when did you discover you had autism as a child?
I wasn't diagnosed with autism. I had other neurologically disabilities like very, very slight, maybe mental retardation, brain damage, and ADH, ADD, all that. But autism didn't come into play until 2009 when I was re-diagnosed again, when I was like 52 years old. I know I had an unusual story and something unique to share. So I decided to write a book. At that time, I really was not educated, in writing as far as doing a book or a novel. However, my cousin helped me that was an English professor that has already been retired, and he decided to take on the task to help me write my novel. And so this is how it came to be. I approached him one afternoon at an event that we were having, that I had a desire. I wanted to try to write a book. And this is all how this exploded into action.
I am so proud of you for having a dream and a desire. And certainly if someone had told you after all of those multiple diagnoses that you would be able to tell your story and write your story and help other people with autism and help people who don't understand autism to see the world through your eyes, I think that is amazing, Marc. And I want to give you the beneficial presence, Dr. Marissa's beneficial presence on the Dr. Marissa's beneficial presence on the Planet Award to Marc Pulver today. I don't give that award to every guest. So I hope you feel a little bit special. And I hope that you're a great example of, impossible means I'm possible. And I'm glad I got to highlight you as someone who has probably not had an easy time maneuvering. What kinds of things have helped you go from having all of these diagnoses to saying, I'm going to write a book?
Basically, the will to want it to be part of life and society, and not to continue to be rejected and bullied like I was growing up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I just, with the help of my parents and other family members, I just decided I'm not going to be denied. And that was it. I made up my mind that I'm not going to be denied a chance. And this is my message to everybody with disabilities, even family members that want to shun them from being able to live and thrive in society, to isolate them, that they have the same rights they need to have and my advocation to others, that's my gift to them, to let them know that they don't have to be denied, just like I'm not denied right now.
That's so beautiful and beautifully said. And I can't wait to read your book. So where can people get it? It's called, again, so people remember.
Living Life with Autism, the World Through My Eyes. However, I need to find another publishing company because there are no more distributions from my, that are out right now. No more copies. However, I can get it to them in doc form by my email, mwpul@yahoo.com, or just message me, Marc Pulver, on Facebook, Succeeding with Autism, if they want to reach out to me.
That sounds great. So you can get an ebook copy directly from Marc Pulver. I'm going to contact my publisher and see what he can do as well, and see if he's interested in the story. If you're a publisher listening and you would like to have a reader's copy to see if you're interested in helping Marc out, the name of his book is Living with Autism, The World Through My Eyes. And
may I correct you? It's Living Life with Autism, The World Through My Eyes. Sorry for the interruption.
No. Thank you for my lower third is covering the full name of the book. But I am so delighted that you reached out and that I get to highlight you. So for people who are, your message is very similar to what I heard in the documentary Crip Camp. Did you watch that on Netflix? You have not.
No, I have not watched that, but I've watched other shows like The Good Doctor, which I watch religiously. Whenever it's on, I try to watch it.
Okay, so Crip Camp on Netflix is what I would also recommend, not just to you, but the listeners, because we do not understand the amount of work and blood, sweat, and tears that people have gone through to ensure rights for those who have not the same abilities as we do. And so it is really important for us, especially now, to value diversity in all of its faces and all of its abilities. And that's why I wanted to have Marc on. So, Marc, what would be your advice to people who have autism, who are feeling hopeless right now, especially through this pandemic? What's your message to them to give them some hope?
Get help immediately, and tell them, whoever, tell your counselor or a doctor or a physician who's educated, in matters like this, in this profession of counseling. Tell them what your problem, what you're feeling, and they'll analyze it and work through it. But be be positive and just think, oh, I can do this, and don't let any negativity enter your psyche. Get help is the best advice I can give anyone. Just basically get help from a certified professional.
Wonderful. And what do you say to people who are being bullied for their differences, either with autism or any developmental disorders? How do you respond to people who make fun of you or bully you? What's some good advice?
That they're insecure, with themselves, and then you shouldn't let anybody's negative behavior affect you in any way, shape, or form. That's my advice.
That's beautiful.
They're not worth it.
Right.
They're not comfortable within their own skin.
It's not about that. It's not about you. It's about them. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Perfect. Wonderful. So the last question that I always ask my guests is, to whom or what are you most grateful for? To who or what are you most grateful for in life?
Right now, I'd say my mother, because of as tough as things were, she never gave up on me. She always knew that I had it in me to do what I'm doing now, to move out to Los Angeles after living a sheltered life, more or less, basically, because mother was very, very overprotective. And I finally blossomed, and I'm now able to spread my wings and really do what I want to do as an independent soul.
That's
want to aid and help others on the same trajectory that I am.
That's beautiful. Well, I'm just delighted to have had time to get to know you on my show. I wish you a lot of success in all of your desires and dreams and hopes for the future. And I'm so grateful to have met you. Thank you so much, Marc Pulver, for coming on my show.
Thanks again. It's been a privilege and honor to be here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And if you've just tuned in, stay here. We'll be right back after these sponsor support announcements. If you'd like to be a sponsor of this show about hope and happiness, just message me at drmarissa.life. And remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. We'll be right back with Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. Welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And I hope you enjoyed that interview with an amazing human being, Marc Pulver, who, even with the diagnosis of autism, knows that he is more than his diagnosis, and with hope and with support has written his own book. So take a look at that. And I figured there's no better way to complete this show about hope, both Marc and then my next interview, Matt Embry, who has shown that multiple sclerosis is also just a diagnosis that he can overcome. So here we go with a rebroadcast of his great interview with me. My guest is the inspiring filmmaker, Matthew Embry, who shares his own incredible story with multiple sclerosis in the award-winning documentary, The Living Proof. In 95, he was diagnosed with MS, and he developed and founded the MSHope for those newly diagnosed or currently dealing with MS. His goal is to provide strategies that have enabled him to live a drug-free, healthy life for more than 20 years since his diagnosis. He's a director and writer known for the Living Proof award-winning documentary, which I accidentally found, by the way. I was doing a search on Amazon Prime for, top 5-star movies, and his came up. I had no idea what it was going to be about because I don't like spoiling any of my own surprises. So I don't even read the synopsis. And I started and he had me hooked from that first minute because he was crying. And I love men that cry, and he's not bad to look at either. So I watched through the whole thing and was so inspired. Well, let me get back to my script here. He also is known for A World of Hurt, Theo Fleury, Playing with Fire. He has many awards, including the Canadian Screen Award for Best Web Program or Series Nonfiction, and has been interviewed on a plethora of TV shows, and now mine with the Asian Oprah. Please welcome to my studio, Matt Embry. Welcome, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, thank you for responding so quickly. I emailed and said, loved your doc. Are you ever in LA? Forgetting about the virus and no travel. And he said, yeah. So here we are 2 weeks later, and you're streaming in from Calgary, correct?
Yeah, Calgary in Canada.
Yeah, and I was born in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, so fellow
Okay,
Canadian.
great.
Yeah. So MS, multiple sclerosis, for those of you who didn't watch Living Proof, which you will tonight if you haven't already, give me a little bit of that take me back to, what happened, how did you find out, how old you were, and sort of the milestones in that little journey.
Yeah, I mean, I was 19 years old. This is back in 1995, and I was an athlete. I still am, and I'd come back from mountain biking, and I was kicking a basketball in the basement, and suddenly I had a hard time feeling the ball. It wasn't that my leg was. It was a combination of numbness and hypersensitivity, and slowly that feeling went from my foot all the way up into my chest. And at that point, I thought I'd pinched a nerve. I thought that I'd had some sort of injury and that, this was going to get better. And then other symptoms started to appear, leg spasticity, things like this. And then eventually went to the doctor, was referred to a neurologist, had the MRI, and had multiple lesions on my brain and my spine, and was diagnosed with MS.
Wow. And like, from athlete, perfect good health, no warning at all, right? No, like, oh, your uncle has this, or maybe it's going to be in the family. Nothing. No. So from perfect to imperfect. So what helped you during that time?
Well, I mean, I think multiple sclerosis is a very scary disease, and I think that we don't often see it in the media in its forms that aren't super aggressive. So I think for most people, it's Annette Funicello, now Selma Blair, who's brought an incredible amount of awareness to the disease, comes to mind. Richard Pryor back then. So for me at that young age, I mean, it was frightening. I mean, I wasn't even 20 years old, and here I was starting to picture a life that I was going to slowly go downhill and be physically debilitated, which is the long-term outcome of this disease. Mm-hmm. Now I was very fortunate. I mean, back then there weren't a lot of pharmaceutical options at the time. They were very experimental. This is back in 1995, and my father is a PhD researcher and geologist. So he went to work right away. My mom's a nurse as well. And so the two of them just dug into it, and their instinct right away, I know my mom was for sure, was there was something diet related. And that my dad, he dug into the medical library at the university. It came up with dietary strategies.
Your parents were amazing. I just love watching their parts in the film. I feel like I know them, and please give them my love. I think that what they did what they're still doing is really amazing. And my heart went out to your mom and her reaction, and your uncle. So family, obviously, good support. For those of you who are listening, because I'm hoping that people are sharing this with people who have MS or are in that stage of hopelessness. What are some of the things that we don't know about MS, if you have MS or have relatives who have MS, that you should know?
Well, I mean, I think that what we try to do on MSHope.com, which is a free website that I've set up with my parents' charity. All the information is free. These are strategies, dietary strategies, vitamins, supplements, exercise. These are strategies that the average person who's diagnosed with multiple sclerosis can explore. And there's a website that, there's another link to give you the science to why these strategies may have a very positive outcome, positive effect on your long-term outcomes. And this information, it's difficult to find. I mean, you can go to your MS Society websites and maybe they have a link that kind of gives you some information about diet, but that's about it. So the thing is, we're trying to get that information out there. And I think that one of my key messages is that, if you're diagnosed with MS or whatever disease, you have to take control.
Yeah.
And you have to get after it.
Yeah. And what I found really interesting and a little disturbing is, here you are obviously not in the stereotype or the common view of many of the people who have MS, using walkers and barely being able to walk in a straight line and just really debilitated. And they're on medication of, that they're told it might help, might not help. And here you are obviously thriving, and you're not only battling multiple sclerosis, but there's a giant organization that is supposed to be helping, which is why I wanted you on the show, to raise the awareness that you do not have to be, condemned to just losing functions in your body from beginning to end, that there is a solution. And I had Chris Wark on here, who healed himself from stage 3 cancer with a similar diet exercise regime. And he says hello, by the way. And I was so excited because it's the same, this is like it's like the best kept secret. For what reason?
Well, I mean, it's complicated. And I think, when it comes to diet and lifestyle changes, I mean, these things they're free. You can go out and do it. I mean, there's no
Matthew, we lost you. His phone just died. Put the moose on the table. Are you still
there are problems with online?
Okay. Hear you though. There's no sound
These days, so
yeah, well, it's just this massive influx. But Tony's gonna grab your tray. So it's free. There's no drug purchase. There's no, you literally choose your diet and exercise.
Yeah.
And I'll put the moose on the table. Are you still in battle with the MS Society?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, not right now. I mean, they had an opportunity a couple of years ago to speak on a panel with me, but they declined.
Okay.
And that's kind of where things are at today.
Okay. So they're not sending you cease and desist orders for using their trademarked logo or anything like that. They're not doing that.
No, things have resolved since then.
Okay, good.
Since
good.
the movie,
I'm glad to hear that. But for any of you who are listening out there who knows anyone who has MS, and actually who is feeling unhealthy in any way, there's free resources on MSHope.com that Matt has put up. And for that reason, and many more, but I did want to give you what I give to my guests who are doing something more than just be a star or whatever it is. But you're going to get Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. So,
thank you. Yeah.
Tony, I don't know. I think he's trying to grab the YouTube, but usually you get applause at this point.
Thank
There
you.
we go.
Thank you very much.
Good. So, Matt Embry, the man. So, do you still fear that what's going to happen is going to happen?
No, I mean, I think fear is something that, we all struggle with us at some level, especially in today's world, right? Especially with what's going on with this global pandemic.
Yeah.
And I think that, I also try to tell people that, look, everybody is in a potential disease state at all times. So it's up to you to take control of your health and start doing the things, the eat right, exercise right, prayer, meditation, balance in all these three categories to take control of that fear and take control of your own health.
Yeah, absolutely. Fear for me stands for F, future events already ruined.
Right.
So
right.
I try not to stay in fear at any time at all, because it's really, it hurts your health too, because higher stress levels lead to lower immune ability to fight off. So you're preaching to the choir, and I'm preaching to your choir too. And you are married with kids.
Yeah.
How many kids?
I've got 2 children.
And how old are they now?
They're 11 and 9. So.
And do they know their dad has MS? Do they have an understanding of that?
Yeah, I mean, they came to the premiere at TIFF, and they obviously it's in the news here in Canada, maybe more than it is down in the US. So they're certainly aware, but they've also been educated. They've been educated in regards to the importance of diet, the importance of daily exercise, and how important these things are. And we really take a preventative approach towards their health. Mm-hmm. Teaching them now how to eat properly, teaching them now how to exercise, and to be mindful and these types of things, and to do parents, in my opinion, you've got to do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to, if you want if you want good outcomes, you've got to be the one to instill these ideas in them.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. I made my children do 3 gratitudes every morning on the way to school from the time they were this high. And so I think I'm very proud of them. And I think that made a huge difference. Now,
for sure.
Do your kids ever get sad? And what do you say to them? Because I think there's a lot of people with cancer. There's a lot of parents who have some kind of a disease. How do you talk to your kids about that?
Again, for me, that was about education. I mean, I think there was a significant amount of fear before I went in, when they were young, how I was going to do that. But through the process of the film and going public, I overcame that by able to have that conversation with them. Mm-hmm. And they watch me live it. Like they watch me do it. My daughter's very mindful about what I can and cannot eat, same with my son. And they watch me achieve the physical activity every day. They know this is what dad does. They see the results, right? And they're getting to the age where they can compare me to other parents. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
They start to go, okay, my dad he's really active comparatively.
Yeah.
So it's those types of things which you got to show them.
Yeah, absolutely. How's your wife doing? Because I was really touched in the part in the movie where she's like, this is not really my deal, not my comfort zone of, kind of opening up my family to all of this, but whatever it is to support. And by the way, I asked Matt before we got on what flavor of Asian his wife was, because y'all know I just blurt stuff like that all the time. And she is Korean, which is kind of cool. So we have that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, the Korean diet is, luckily it's, a lot of it is dairy-free, gluten-free. So that has made things easier from a family perspective. Mm-hmm. But I do feel bad, especially when I watched the movie. I mean, we maybe had 2 conversations about my MS prior to us getting married. Like maybe. I mean, I had it so under control and it was just it was the back burner of my life. That it was a surprise to her when I went public, and that would have been almost 10 years after we were together. So, but she's seen the effects, and it's hard for her not to. She's like anyone else. She sees the people who write me who've now seen the movie. I share stuff with her like that, and people reach out to her now to share the information. So she's able to share it with people, and so it's that, and that's been really wonderful for our entire family. I think right now is the volume of people around the world who write and say, I saw the movie in 2017, and here's my life today. And you see this incredible transformation.
That's it's so fabulous. Yeah, and there's your reward, I'm sure. Part of your reward, which makes you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important for me to, and I express this, that I'm a messenger. I'm simply a messenger. It's God speaking through me, and I have to I have to honor that, and I have to be very clear to people if that's how I feel, and I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, well, that's very apparent in the movie, and it continues to be apparent here, and that's why I gave you the award. And I can't give it to you again because I already gave it to you earlier on the show. So what would you say your parents now, where, like, how, like, how are they feeling? Where are they now emotionally?
I mean, in regards to the journey we're on with the MS, I mean, I think they've done an incredible amount of work, like incredible. And just recently, my mother has published for free again, a cookbook to help people with the diet. And that's on my website, I think, in Direct MS. So she got that out there. It's free. But it's also got some of the science in it. And if people can download it, and I think you can actually order a hard copy. I don't know if you can order a hard copy still for free, but for sure you can get the access. So I mean, I think it's hard. It's hindsight's 2020, right? I think it's hard for us all not to see it as maybe that's why we were all here. One of the major reasons.
I totally hear you. Yeah.
And I just there's too many pieces that just kind of connect, right? Whereas my dad's a researcher, and I'm a filmmaker, and my mother's a nurse, and my brother's this, and my sister-in-law is this. There's just too many of the pieces line up to be able to. And then suddenly we're doing this kind of thing.
Right.
We're reaching all these people.
Right. Absolutely. I don't know if you are familiar with my story, and I'm one of the 7 out of 10 who had childhood trauma. And, it was something that I hated and fought against and was very angry and bitter about my entire life. And now I wouldn't change a thing because I'm here to show that you can be happy no matter how you were raised, no matter what happened to you, you can still be happy. And so I totally get that. In fact, this morning, I just launched a piece at home for the month that we're going to still continue to be here. And I would love to have you as part of that, my Canadian contingent. And I, every morning, I teach something new, some Chinese yoga, some meditation. And what was interesting, to your point of everything's divinely orchestrated already, and we just have to show up. I did an interview with a radio show at 8, and up to like last week, I really thought I was just going to sit around and play games and wait for this thing to be over, and then recognizing that no, this is the time that I need to open my mouth. I haven't done a live show for a little while. So this is also, I had that interview so I could spout off on my Facebook Live exactly what we need to be, owning during this time. And, that was not accidental. And then you coming on today, same day, I'm exhausted already, but it's like the best feeling in the world, knowing that everything that happens to us is for our divine good. And it's not what happens to us, it's what happens for us. Right. And so for the way that you were saying that, I'm just thrilled because you're preaching to my choir, for sure.
That's great. I mean, and there's freedom. There's so much freedom in that too, right?
Yeah. So were you a filmmaker before you started doing the filmmaking on the MS? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a filmmaker since I was very little. I was born more or less to do this. So I've got, I've been in the business for more than 20 years now, and that's been my job or my vocation. So it just kind of, when we made the decision to turn the camera on this story, right, that was kind of
that's a big move.
moment.
Big move. So how did that come about? Like, what did you wake up with that? Did you?
Again, there's some sort of divine thing that happened to me. It was just, I was coming up towards 40, and suddenly I just, for me, it started with anger, and that, that's not necessarily, but like, if I harness that, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
I was quite angry at a situation, and I just harnessed it. Like, I just saw people suffering, and I wanted to get I was frustrated with this information not getting to the masses.
And that totally makes sense.
Yeah. And I'd done documentaries about Theo Fleury and Jan Arden's people, celebrities in Canada. So I knew how that worked.
Right.
And so I knew, and then for me and my director of photography, we were thrilled because we had access to me, right? we didn't have to worry about me not showing up or anything like that. So.
And you were pretty cheap labor too, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're like, this is gonna be the easiest project in the world.
That's so funny. And then the woman that was in Los Angeles, how's she doing? The Asian woman.
I don't know. I've emailed her, but I haven't heard back from her for a long time.
Maybe I'll reach out to her.
Yeah. It's hard to know where she's at.
Well, what's hard is to watching, how some MS patients were so debilitated. Like, I was crying when the friend who was in that full body wheelchair and laid back, and he was talking, I forget his name, I'm sorry.
Larry, yeah.
Larry, and then your role model in London, England, who, that was sad and happy at the same time. But the myriad of the ways that the disease shows up, and is it? You can't know, but I mean, is it ever too late to start doing what you're doing to reverse, like the people who have sort of progressed? Is it too?
Well, and that's why Dr. Walls is such an important story in our film, where she was very debilitated. And then she went on a very aggressive diet. She's in the film towards the end. The short hair.
Yeah,
and you watch someone who was who was very debilitated. Suddenly now she's riding the bike and she's walking around and she's doing these types of things. And if you go to my Facebook, there's similar stories I've posted from other people who've done this.
So there is hope, literally.
Yeah, there's hope, right? And I think that we don't know where those limitations are. And our perspective is, what have you got to?
I am so grateful that I've had the opportunity to interview and now rebroadcast such important interviews with such important people like Matt Embry, and in the second segment, Marc Pulver, who definitely are all about providing true stories of hope, that it doesn't matter what your diagnosis is, you can still have hope and you can still heal. And for that, I am so grateful. And I'm so glad that you stayed with me on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show. I hope you come back tomorrow again for another great morning with you. I appreciate all of your kind words. I've gotten messages from all over that you're enjoying the morning show. I appreciate that. Thanks to the entire team at KCAA that is paramount in helping me splatter more hope and happiness. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live. Remember, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Have the best day ever.